From Wakefield, it's the Ice-T Meme Show starring NoLdAwG, inviting you to join NoLdAwG and his guest this week, Riley Lynch, to the show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's NoLdAwG. And welcome back to another edition of the program. I hope everyone out there listening and viewing to this week's program are well and safe. Gotta do that. Because as this little red dot on my camera means go, and the clock hits Thursday, would have been Tuesday or Wednesday, folks, but Thursday, the 15th of April 2021, it only means one thing, and that's we're back for another edition of the Ice-T and Meme Show. As always, if you like what you watch, listen to today, there's all a huge favorite, Mr. Small Eyes over there. By subscribing or following the show, smash that like button. It helps. Asking like a retard. What else do I want to say? Oh yeah, click that bell button so you're notified when stuff drops. Because I'm sure you foam me at the mouth. And then and finally click that share out so you can let all your friends know what's going on with the show. Because I know whatever the fuck the saying is, everyone's knowing and wondering what's going on with this channel. And yeah, so that's what's up, and I'm asking if you do. But with that being said, it's time to introduce my guest. Like I said, it took a while to get him. It took a few tries. It took a few runarounds, but he's finally here. The man himself. The man is always on George Harrison's cloud nine. He's the one, the only, Mr. Riley Lynch. I want to thank you, sir, for finally being able to fit me into the schedule like you're the Queen of England. I want to express that.
Truly my pleasure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But no, now I know we see each other from time to time. I mean, the next 2 weeks we probably won't, but the last prior handful of weeks and months we've seen each other quite a bit. So
we won't see each other.
Tennis and stuff like that a few times a week. So it's not like we never see each other. But for the viewers, I'm sure the viewers are so curious on what your life's been like during this past year and a half during the pandemic or whatever it's been. But I'm curious, what has for those at home that are wondering, what's it been like for you during this pandemic?
All right, for those who are wondering what my life's been like, I would say when it started off, it was really normal for quarantine. Fucking just me and my parents, it sucked. But ever since school, I mean, we got a house off campus, so we weren't too like crazy with URI rules because we were off campus. So we had a good time. I got 6 roommates, so even if we aren't able to get people over, still able to do normal shit and fucking day-to-day stuff. I don't know. How's your
asking the host? That's not my.
Oh shit! You're right. I forgot. I'm sorry. I can't ask the question.
No, you can, but I mean that's not usually how it goes. I mean, I'm surprised that you haven't been paying attention week to week for this show. But then again, that's like everyone else. My life's been glorious. Just trying to get guests, just trying to go around, reach for them, and stuff like that. But I'm also curious, and I guess for the people out there, compared now during the second wave compared to the first wave, what's been different about how you've operated day-to-day operations for yourself?
From the first wave, like when do you think the second wave hit? Like, what do you think that time frame?
Probably, I don't know, probably near the end of the summer, if not early fall, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So first wave, when it was really bad, it was just, I think most people were just purely quarantined, and I was purely quarantined with just my parents basically. And I saw a couple of my friends at that time, but not really much. So that summer was kind of not really much, I was working landscaping. It was terrible. I had to get up at 5:30 every morning. But you have a nice job last summer? What'd you do over quarantine?
This is a back and forth conversation. I guess the conversation with NoLdAwG. No, I work at a summer camp, so the operations of the day-to-day stuff were definitely different. Wearing masks all the time and shit like that, and run-ins with parents and all that grand stuff. Another conversation for another time, because we're all worried and wondering about you. No, my life was fine.
Questions here. I mean, like, this is a long span of time just to talk about my life. Let me thank you.
I mean, if you don't want to, we can go on to the next one. I mean, I'm building up a conversation. Besides, not regardless of that though. This time has all been a time for everyone to reflect on themselves and their life during this time, because it definitely takes away from things we're used to having. What have you learned and been able to look back on about yourself and in your community during this time?
Oh man. All right, let's see. Well, look back. What did I learn from COVID?
Yeah, about yourself or stuff in general.
Let's see. Well, you definitely learn that fucking life can throw shit at you, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Over the COVID, this is a loaded question. Let's say I learned I built a garden over COVID.
There you
That was a
go.
fun activity. Me and my sister had we cleared out an area in our backyard and then built a pretty large garden with a patio area. It took about 4 weeks to do. It was a good time. And then, so I guess learning that if you dedicate your time to shit, then you really can, if you can figure a lot of stuff out, because we had no clue
Yeah.
how to do like all that. We kind of had to flatten the ground and
Yeah.
buy a compressor and shit. So it was fun to learn that new stuff, even though we were quarantined. We only saw like 3 people throughout the 4 weeks anyway.
Well, it definitely gives you a perspective, and although some people in this large country of ours seem to still have a fucking problem with, and a problem with dealing and accepting that this is a fucking, global issue that we're facing, it definitely allows you to put time towards things that you weren't able to do before. Because I doubt if there was no COVID, you'd be building a fucking garden like Martha Stewart in your backyard. If there's no COVID.
No, without COVID, it certainly would not happen. Yeah, because I would have been out doing stuff or having a different. Yeah.
And it's and even something like this, something like the humongous success that this show is in South Kingstown and the global world. This wouldn't have happened either. So definitely it gives me a greater perspective on life without this to really appreciate it more. Something that I know and others know, but others may not know, is that you work at one of my favorite restaurants in the state of Rhode Island, Tony's Pizzeria. Now, I'm curious to know what that's been like during this pandemic and how operations are like for that job since you had it.
Well, I worked a delivery job in high school pre-pandemic, so I knew how like the restaurant and shit worked and stuff. And besides masks and no dine-in, it was pretty normal day to day. Like we were able to have besides my old restaurant didn't have dine-in either, so it was normal for me. But besides all the restaurants being closed and like all the chairs being up and shit, I was able to. The masks are annoying, and some people, I would say a large majority, just don't give a shit about them, and they just don't wear them at work. It's just kind of annoying, but you have to deal with those people.
Oh yeah, yes. You gotta deal with that for sure. I remember this past summer working at the summer camp. I've been there. This will be summer number 6, and at one of the fields in South Kingston that we usually at for every summer. It was the last few have been divided. It's been divided in half between our discovery camp, which is run through the Parks and Rec department for the town, and the URI head soccer coach for the men's team, Gareth Edwards, has a camp, and eventually he'd be getting on our backs last summer for the counselors not wearing their mask around the children, and meanwhile he's got 12 staff members that aren't wearing their masks either. So it's definitely a tricky issue to deal with, though. And you can be completely honest here, because I doubt Tony's is watching, the people who own it, and this is an honest show. How do you think, on a scale of 1 to 10, that Tony's, the management or the restaurant in general, has dealt with operating during this pandemic and dealing with it?
I would say like I don't know how they like handled it because I joined them at the like relatively late in the pandemic in
Yeah,
January. But since then they've been uh like I don't know how they started because I never been there before either.
yeah.
So like I don't know how their indoor dining and stuff was and how
Uh,
big it was part of their business. But it seemed like I don't know if even how much staff they had to drop. Did they have a big like wait staff when you
See, I had now to be completely honest, I hadn't been there in a while. Now they've had, and I've mentioned this to you before, and you've mentioned this. They have changed staff twice,
yeah,
and I went there before they changed stuff around, which had to have been at least a year and a half, 2 years ago. It wasn't last year. I didn't go last year at all, or maybe the year
yeah,
prior, but it definitely was before COVID. Trying to think what their staff was like. I mean, they obviously, I think they had the average. I mean, it's not a huge restaurant, and it's not like it's immensely successful. So they had an average size staff. I mean, not too many people in the kitchen and people,
but
but
I'd say they still had to cut down because we only have basically drivers now
yeah,
and drivers and two people up front. So we don't. Definitely had to let go waiters and
yeah,
bus people and
which
which
stinks, but that's what's got to happen.
what you got to do to stay in business,
That's what
stay
you gotta do. Only the tough survive, I guess, and I guess you're one of them.
I guess.
Um, during this time, there's been a lot of estimations and data and statistical analysis on what's going to happen and when this is going to end. And to you, now I don't know what major you are at URI. I think you said
I'm an
business or whatever the
accounting
fuck it
major.
was, but
I'm
I guess you're going to be good at math.
yeah.
To you though, estimate when do you think this will all be over by?
All right, it's really, I think, gonna depend on the rollout of the vaccines and how like well those take. Because as soon as I feel like herd immunity and whatever they talk about, I'm gonna, I'm thinking end of the summer is gonna be like very steady.
All right.
But I feel like masks are gonna be a thing for a while, and a lot of people are gonna wear them just out of preference. Like
Yeah.
in general, a lot of people might just wear masks around if they're walking into public places because they're gonna feel uncomfortable. But
Um, no,
uh,
I would say that. Yeah, that's what I think most of them are saying that the fall is when it should go down. Although Johnson and Johnson vaccines being recalled because the people are getting blood clots, which is definitely great for pushing forward through this. Insanity, definitely something some people get nowadays during this whole thing. How do you keep yourself um down the straight path of keeping calm and collective during this
yo, I
difficult time?
cannot hear you. You're like glitching out on me.
I'm glitching out. I'm glitching out, man. My internet's unstable. Fuck. Okay, so what I said was insanity is an issue, I would think, and mental fortitude is an issue during these times, I would think, during this last year and a half or year, almost year and a half. How does Mr. Riley Lynch keep himself straight and narrow on the path of sanity during these eventful international times?
I think the key is just like getting outside, exercise, and the garden definitely like helped me do that. I run a lot. Like my mom is a big runner and she makes us run a lot. And then so that's a lot. That's fun. It makes you feel better. Definitely always mentally helps. And then the garden is kind of been a nice release
Oh, there you
because it's
go.
really like I went to it before work and then it was a nice vibe. It helped me
There,
get away from the yeah.
Garden Boy. I guess that's your new name. It's no longer a Big Boy. It's Garden
I
Boy
don't.
now.
Where did the fucking pig boy? I don't understand what
Big
this
Boy.
fucking nickname
I don't know.
came from.
I think, and the thing is, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. There's a lot of dead weights on the club tennis team. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I have to carry a lot with humor wise on the team. Yeah, Aiden does his best to do it, and so on and so forth. But I have to do a lot to make myself, feel relaxed and stuff that practice because it's like being at a library watching paint dry. It's dull sometimes. So I think I just randomly said pig boy for some reason. I don't know. It was something having to do with you, and there's some connection with pigs and something. I forget what it was,
Yeah,
and I just said pig boy, and I
it
just
was like
started.
maybe I said it was my favorite animal or something.
No, I don't think it was. I got a good memory. It
But
wasn't that, but anyways, I
uh,
started doing it, and for some reason I just stick comedically. But now it's garden boy. It's a garden
I'll
boy.
take
What's
Garden Boy over Big Boy certainly.
yeah, definitely garden boy. Certain people definitely like more garden stuff than pigs. But what's next for Mr. Riley Lynch after post pandemic? What's gonna be happening in his
Um,
life?
well, post pandemic, I'm not sure, but over the summer, I'm got a job as teaching kayaking and sailing to kids, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then I was supposed to do that last summer, but the camp got canceled due to COVID. So I'm excited to get at it. I've never actually sailed before, but they're going to train me, so we'll see how.
There you
how
go. So you're gonna be on the rebound. You're gonna be learning while you're teaching. That's
exactly.
always eventful. Okay.
Eventful
Uh,
for sure.
Mr. Riley Lynch, this time during the show is when I usually play some videos, and what I do is play some videos I thought were entertaining, and the guests will react to them, and we'll go from there. They are a little out there, a little different, a little
Oh,
edgy. If they don't work, and if you can't see them, then we won't play them. We'll go to the final section, and I'll let you go back to playing hide and go seek in a cornfield with your roommates up in the air.
a
Um,
lot more just die, you know.
let's
But
let's
it's all right.
let's
Let's get a videos.
let's click share. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do in advance is I'm going to ask you to just give me a thumbs up and say you can hear it when it's playing. Let's click the share screen. Okay, no thanks.
Gotcha. You're such a strange man.
Oh shit, what's playing next? Shit, what's this? What? Fuck.
Bro, how is that even a meme? I don't get it.
Fuck, what is
Hey,
this?
to
Oh
the
shit,
world,
sorry, no,
it's
fuck
me,
OJ,
OJ
no, fuck
Mahomes.
OJ, damn it, no. It's OJ
I don't
Mahomes.
see
Fuck.
it, bro. I don't see it.
Damn it.
I still see the other
Hey,
screen.
Twitter world, it's me, OJ
I still see
Mahomes.
the other screen.
You still see the two apes fucking?
Oh wait, no, no. Well, it was the blank screen, but all right, wait, now it's off. Hold up.
Hey, Twitter
Oh
world,
fuck,
it's
shit,
me,
it's OJ
OJ
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Fuck. Damn it, shit. Damn it, no, not OJ
Shame
Mahomes.
on. Is that really OJ Simpson?
Yes, just as
Oreo
Patrick Mahomes.
McFlurry from McDonald's. Can't get much better than this.
Oreo flurry from McDonald's. Shut the fuck up and take a bite from me, bro. Eat that McFlurry, baby. Oh, by the way.
Now some of my favorite ones are coming up.
Your favorite.
I'm retarded?
Richard, what's your favorite animal? What's your favorite animal?
Monkey.
Okay. This is the coolest guy ever. Definitely who you want to aspire to be. I mean, it's definitely obviously myself at the bottom, then obviously yourself, then obviously Zach Austin, and then this guy right here.
Good morning and good afternoon, pretty. You look very attractive and gorgeous and beautiful naked on base station last night, baby. Yeah, baby. Ding a dong. Tasty. So I couldn't phone you last night. It's just I get nervous and I don't always get through to you. So you know I'm a big fan of yours. Mwah!
This guy is definitely a cool guy.
Bro.
His hat looks like it has been taken out of the storage unit since 1985. It's got so much dust and mildew on it. It says "I love London." You could tell he's
It looks like he
British.
found that in his. He does love London.
His teeth are a mess. He makes Austin Powers look like he's American, and his skin's more oily than I don't even know the oil slip in Mexico. He's definitely an eventful guy. The ball props to him.
Aspire to be.
Yeah, props to him. I mean, now you know this gives me motivation. You know, if I see some hot broad in town, I say, hey baby, you look beautiful. and I can say stuff just like him because I know for a fact this is the same method you use when you find someone interesting.
Exactly.
Let's go to this one.
Hey, brother, I'm on record for a moment. What is this place, anyways? What is this place?
You don't need to film me.
Oh, I'm doing a documentary. Listen here.
I don't care. I don't want to be
This
filmed.
is America, you dumb son of a bitch, okay?
You dumb son of a bitch. I'm a private person, and I don't
I'm
want
a
to be filmed,
fucking
so
American,
fuck your
you
goddamn film.
stupid fuck.
Fuck
I can
your
ask you
fucking
anything
film.
I
Fuck your
want.
film, and I can tell you no anytime
You're
I
getting a fucking baby raper on your face, okay,
You want a baby
cocksucker?
raper? You're the one who looks like a baby raper.
Baby raper,
Would you
Chomo.
escape from jail?
What's up there, Chomo? Listen here. What do you guys, how do you get a job here, there, fuckface?
Well, not by talking like that.
Oh, you know what? You're fired, bud.
No,
okay?
I'm not.
You're talking to
Grit your
me.
teeth
I'm
a
a
little more,
fucking
tough guy.
American,
Grit
you
your tough-
fuck.
Come on, tough guy.
You're the one
Grit your
touching my
teeth.
camera through the
Grit your
fence,
teeth,
you
tough guy. Come on,
faggot.
grit your teeth.
I'm gonna talk to the sheriff's department about you, buddy, okay?
Go get him. Go get him.
And I'm gonna see,
Go get 'em.
well, they're gonna watch it on the internet.
Go get him.
Well, how do you get a job here?
Not by
Tough
talking like
boy.
you. Not by talking
Are
like
you,
you.
like what? You guys the ones all scared of the camera. Look at you. Look at you. You know what? You're fired, okay? You didn't follow proto. How do you get a job here?
You know what
You're-
protocol is?
Yeah, I take cops' badges all the time doing it. You know who you're talking to? A retired double agent there, you fucking
Talking to a
retard.
man who's lost
You're
from the
talking
insane
to a man that
asylum.
just ruined your fucking life,
You just
okay?
lost from the insane asylum, buddy.
You just lost your life, okay, as far as your job
You
goes.
threatened my life.
No, I told you.
Well, the bald man's name is Fed Smoker. If you follow the YMH, Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina Brzezinski, comedian married couple. Fred Smoker is a legend on there. He's often played. This man is fucking wild. He'll do his own dental work in his car. He has conformed his car into a police cruiser. He's got a police radio in the car, a dispatcher. He's got a computer to follow cops and know where they are. He will cut his own hair by lighting it on fire. His car's a mess. He is a wild guy. He does a lot of road rats, or whatever they're called, the old sluts who find men to do at truck stops. He's an interesting guy. Unfortunately, he has passed a few years ago, so rest in peace to Fed Smoker. But he's a legend of a guy, and we'll end with this final two videos.
Oh, you can say that over the phone, Batman, but if I had you here, I'd pound you to a pulp.
Heyo!
Start pounding, Joker.
Heyo!
What?
Distribute the instant offense. The state had the defendant on tape selling marijuana to a female undercover police officer on several different occasions. He had no problem whatsoever hitting on the undercover officer on the audio tape, trying to pick her up and saying, "Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal."
Girl, you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Props to the man for using that. Well, that's the video section of this week. A little heavier than usual, making fun of all sorts of different groups, as I usually do. It definitely is a eventful. I'll send you a playlist later for you to look back on, because I know you enjoyed it a lot. Definitely different from the first season. Okay, as I usually do with each episode, I end with the final section, which is the personal section, where we talk about some personal things and so on and so forth. So, Mr. Riley Lynch, almost said Austin for a second. As I usually do, I usually ask my guests how they first met me in their recollection of that, how they met the wonderful and glorious host that is NoLdAwG. Do you remember exactly when it was, or is it more just like?
I certainly, of course. I believe, the first time I actually met you was the car ride, I think. First car ride. Because NoLdAwG would pick me up for tennis practice on Tuesdays, just me and him.
It was Mondays.
Mondays, that's right, Mondays. Because, oh yeah, that's right. I'll ask you later. But yeah, and then the first time I got in, you were very good at carrying the conversation. You would talk, you talked, and then I was very grateful because I was not good at carrying the conversation. Especially the first ride. And I remember it wasn't the first time, but you were trying to best my other driver by taking us to Wendy's.
Oh yeah.
And it's always great. I'm grateful how much you try to be just as good as Cam Chadwick or
Just as good. I'm not just embarrassed and ashamed how long this took to get this conversation, but to be just as good as Cam Chadwick. Come on now. That is great. Hey, bullshit. But whatever, man. No, I definitely.
didn't mean, I meant to say surpassed in every way.
That's what I thought. I mean, I'm trying to think. I forget what it was. I think there was one time when we were outdoors where I think
beforehand
Aditya had mentioned your name, but I don't think you were there because I at my outdoor party, so I knew everyone there, obviously to an extent. And I don't know if you were there one day or Aditya just called Aiden your name for some reason. I don't know what the deal was. And maybe you were there during a tryout. I really I don't remember. But then then it was the indoors when we started that and I got assigned. Now I'm gonna be honest, and this is what I've said numerous times before. I wasn't thinking, yeah, let me drive to fucking practice. That's definitely what I do. I'm doing it strictly to get that stipend at the end of the season, and so I wouldn't have people on my back about not driving, because there's definitely some people that have personal privilege on to do what they want to do. So I did that. And I'm saying this kid, Riley Lynch, and I said, great, this kid better not be fucking weird or uncomfortable, because that would be the worst time of my life driving this random fuck to practice. And I get there and I pick you up and you live at this house and I almost drive past it. I know where it is, and I drove past and I pulled, there's a lot of cars in the parking lot. Then there's this other back section of the house. I'm like, Jesus, this is a pretty big operation they're running here. And then you come out and we're sitting there. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't seem or look too bad. I can operate with this shit. And then and I cover it and I talk and I say, first of all, and by the way, when I don't know someone and I don't know their vibe, and I can't get their vibe right away, I'm very uncomfortable. It makes me very nervous and it's sketched out. And for me to start the conversation and try to hold one is a very big accomplishment for myself. So it was like that. And I don't know. I forget what happened that night. We were just talking. And of course, I have to, say a bunch of fodder stuff and make fun of stuff and say a bunch of outlander stuff to get people laughing. That's kind of the move down. I usually do that with great success. And we did that. And then weeks go on. And then I think one day you said, oh, yeah, we go to whatever it was afterwards. And I went and we went and that was great. The guy at the front counter had a lady's voice and was an overweight man. And that was interesting. It always looked back fondly on the times where I'm playing music in the car and somehow you come to practice with no phone charge, so you have to charge your phone in my car. And then always usually on the phone talking, whether texting or calling your roommate saying what's going on and what you're doing afterwards. But no, it has been glorious. There have been no hiccups in the acclimation of getting to know each other besides the last few days, but it has been a wonderful trip. If you could say that. We already discussed driving indoors, so I'm glad that I'm held in such a high regard. I am curious though, as someone this is their first year on the team, being you. Assessing now that we're at the end of the season, what have they done well on and what have they improved on, and what could they improve on as a new member of the team?
I thought it was a lot of fun just being able to get out to play tennis again and play with other people our age. I haven't played in a while. But let's see, I think they did well. I love the warm-up routine, and I think when we were indoors, we always had a lot of it was well timed out.
Yeah.
And I think next year when we're outdoors, it'll be well timed out as well. But once we moved outdoors, it was just we were just figuring out what to do.
Yeah.
But it was, and I feel like not as many people go to outdoor practices right now, just probably because of finals.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's unfortunate, but as always, they just slide it right underneath the rug and they get no issues with it like someone like myself would. But That's it. Some people get different privilege and they get off scot clean. Hopefully next year, it'll be more on top of things. I think definitely some people were got away with certain things that others weren't able to. I think they made the punishments too severe and then never dealt with them. But we'll see how it goes next year. People will be in charge. That will be, I think, more there. I think near the end of the season, there are definitely people who were on the e-board that were vacant from practices the last month or so. And you can be all saying, oh yeah, COVID, I'm worried. And that's fine the first day or two. But after a while, you can't just say that and still think you're part of the team. You're jumping off the deep end of the board. Now, there's a member of the team. I've mentioned it before. We talk about them often. That more than myself, and he's the one and only Mr. Zach Austin. And you played tennis with him in high school, and you know him and all that grand stuff. I'm curious to get your answer since you know him so much. And obviously, I sort of know him to an extent. To you though, Mr. Riley Lynch, why is our dear friend and teammate, Mr. Zach Austin, so out there and so quirky, one could say?
Quirky? Well, no, I love Zach. I think he's got great passion for tennis, and I think he's fun to be around and he's fun to play with. I like Zach a lot. I have nothing bad to say about Zach.
There you go. Hey, on this show, you can shoot it as straight as you can here. You don't got to worry about nothing because this show's not as big yet. But let's see how he is now. Was there any difference than how the fuck was in high school, or is it all the same?
In high school, no, maybe he's a little bit more social now, but he was pretty social in high school as well with everybody. So I was only on a team with one year with him in high school, but I always talked to him. We got along, and I'm trying to. I played more with a couple other guys in high school, but ever since I got here, I played with him a couple times, and yeah, I don't know. He's pretty similar.
He likes to talk a little voice crack. He likes to talk a lot about his accomplishment stuff that he's accomplished and been successful at, which no problem with that. It's good for him, especially during COVID. But he mentioned, although it was kind of off the record and not confirmed, that he would become the assistant coach for your guys' high school team. Now, someone who's played high school with him.
That might be, you can't say that on the air. Someone might hear that. That's not supposed
to. Though, how do you think that would go for him, and how do you see him as a JV coach? What were your first thoughts when you heard him say that?
Well, I don't know. He's not going to be JV really coach, but more so like
assistant, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be decent. He's gonna have fun. The freshmen will like him, and he knows guys on the team. That I'm excited because I'm gonna go to some of the practices and hit with him. But I'll be very curious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his how much, what kind of coaching it entails, or what he has to do. But
I know
his dad is one of the great. He was a great tennis coach when he was there when I was playing high school. He taught me a lot, and he's a great player too.
Sometimes.
Exactly. His dad is
sometimes though the apple doesn't fall right down onto the grass below, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, I think you've been observant the last the last year. Anyways, what was I gonna say? He's definitely out there. But hey, that's only if that happens. It's not confirmed yet. So this could be breaking news on this show of all places. I do enjoy though when he talks, because he likes to talk about his time and timing, how he spent doing this and then doing this. And like you mentioned, you started kind of late in high school playing tennis. I'm not saying how could you do this so late? But What took so long to join the club team, the high school team senior year?
Well, my whole life, I kind of was a big baseball player, and I played that. I played varsity sophomore, junior year, and then it was just like a kid from another school came in, and he was better than me, and he took my position, and I didn't want to, and I had another spot. I just didn't want to deal with politics. It was just my town was a big baseball town, and a lot of like annoying shit was surrounded in baseball. And so one of my really good friends was the captain of the tennis team. He's like, bro, we're shit. Come on to the team, and you'll make it easily and just play all the time. And so I went and I played tennis, and it was a great time.
Yeah, well, it's always something, and I'm sure that looking back on it, you probably regret not joining it earlier in high school, because it's definitely, I'm sure, something that was enjoyable.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would have liked to do it junior year, but my freshman baseball team was a blast, and it was
I'm sure, yeah.
amazing. Just because probably the freshman teams are some of the most fun because they're just shit around leagues, and
Yeah,
everyone's
and everyone's
just
in the
knows
same
each
boat.
other. Yeah, exactly.
Let's say next. You also, which I didn't know, this was the first for me to know. This is, I thought this was your first year. Like, I thought you were, when I first met you, I thought you were a freshman, but I forget when it was, and DT had asked you, and you said you were a sophomore, and you said you were on the club swim team, and you were right last year. That I did not know of. What made you go out for that team last year instead of coming out for the club tennis team?
Well, I was going to do the club tennis team, but then one of my good friends at URI who went to Milford too, Mike Corey, he was on the swim team, and I swam with him all throughout high school, and he convinced me to do the swim team. But I just found out I did not want to. I was like dragging myself to those practices, and it was not enjoyable. Like I loved hanging out with them, and I still hang out with them and everything. But I was just hating the swim team, just the practices. Everyone on the team was great. Like the captain, I was good friends with the president there, but it was just the practices were not it.
Oh, I'm sure that was my same sentiment for 6 years worth of high school wrestling. But no, well, I'm sure everyone on the team is glad to see. I know your dear friend Grace, who loves your facial hair, I'm sure has enjoyed you on the team.
I'm sure she's gonna be very excited as she sees it.
Yeah,
or she'll probably continue to just make fun of it.
If she shows up to practice, because she hasn't been there in a few weeks, so we'll see how that goes. So she might not see you until next year, and then she'll be able to.
Yeah, then she'll be real long.
Then she'll be able to whoopie pie herself in the pants. She's if she's watching, fuck her. Now
she's listening to the show.
Because God damn it, that man, that blunt-haired fool of a man made fun of me. Even though I ratted out on him to Ange, a vice president who hasn't shown up to practice. I'm gonna kill him. She's definitely doing that. I know for a fact. Looking forward. I know I asked this about COVID and when you think it's gonna be over, but what do you hope to get out of being on the club team for the next few years? If that's how long you're gonna be on the team for?
Yeah, I hope I'll probably I'll hopefully go for a spot on the e-board in it maybe next year or the year after or the semester after, and then just get a little bit just have fun playing tennis, get a little bit of resume experience on the e-board, and then I like to just play and be outside.
Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. The final question I'll ask, and then I can share as well. Favorite moment on the team so far, or with your co-pilot on Monday nights. It can be either or.
Favorite moment on the team. Let's see. I gotta think back. It's probably gonna be sometime. It was probably low key the fucking Wendy's drive-through, man. That was a fucking strange ass.
Yeah.
Those two people with the voice, just the way the fucking person on the speaker was, and that shit. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Well,
you
you see, oh hey now, the person and nothing else, I'm all accepting, and everyone on this show that helps out, which is just me, everyone here at the ICT Meme Show Studios, ITM Studios for short, accepts everyone of every creed, race, religion, whatever, how many chromosomes you have, we accept all that. I was expecting a younger person in their teens or 20s working at the cash register behind the grill. I open up and it's a man that looks like he's in his 50s. Now, I was thrown off giving him $10. I felt very uncomfortable because I didn't know what was going on, and that was eventful. I think another favorite moment of mine was, I think the last time I drove you, because I think you missed the last two Tuesdays or it was, of indoors. And we're driving and we're about to go into exit 10, and there's a car in the breakdown lane and there's another one behind it, halfway in the lane, halfway out of the lane. And I'm paying attention, but not paying super attention. And
barely paying attention,
yes,
bro.
I almost clip it, but I didn't. Wouldn't have been my fault because
you're like 2 inches away going 60 miles an hour.
Down the highway trying to go into the off-ramp down
I thought
exit
I was
10.
gonna die, dude.
Yes, but hey, as I always say, like I said to Grace, Zach, Cole, and Amy, the first night I drove them, the first indoor practice, or the second indoor practice, we were all set. We made it one piece. I think that was another eventful one, the first indoor practice. So for those who are watching and viewing this, there's a member on this team. Her name is Grace, whatever the fuck her last name is. I don't give a fuck, nor should anyone else, to be honest. And I have to drive 4 fucking people to practice. This girl, Grace, this kid, Cole, this kid, Zach. We mentioned this girl, Amy. That's 4. Why do I have 2 fingers? And I drive them Tuesday nights from campus. They all live there. And I'm going the back roads, and it's snowing, and there's snow on the ground, and there's a truck going very slow in front of me. Now, I'm kind of not in a foul mood, but wanting to get there early, as I always do. Now, I got there pretty early the first time, which I shouldn't have, as I did with Riley the first time.
And 45 minutes.
I can admit I was a little early for that. Anyways, regardless, I drive and I confront this person because they're going slow and I need to get somewhere important, or not really important, but you know the gist. And I'm going there, and they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And they're freaking out, and Grace is silly writing down her list on what things I'm failing at driving. And then the next thing is where I missed the exit. I almost missed the exit, so I take a really tight turn into exit 10. And like, oh my gosh, and they're freaking out and shit. She's writing down another thing on her list for what I'm failing at.
Turn on exit 10, bro. That's a brutal ramp to take a tight turn on.
No, that wasn't what it was. So we're going the back roads of URI, almost basically in Charahoe, and I'm supposed to take a right, and I know that, but I'm carrying the conversation with everyone as I usually do, on top of thinking of something and staring into space.
And you tend to forget to look at your directions.
Well, no, the thing is, I knew I was supposed to be taking a right there, but I wasn't ready yet mentally. So I'm going, and I'm still going straight, and I'm like, oh, you're supposed to go right, and I go, Aah! And it's a big like Tokyo drift turn, and like, oh my gosh, and they're freaking out. And Grace is writing down another thing on her list. And then we get there.
Time you drove these guys, bro.
And then the next thing that happened is up in North Kingstown. I think we were coming back, or we were there. I took the wrong turn, I think, and it told me to take a U-turn. And instead of pulling into the Home Depot parking lot, I decided to pull a U-turn in the middle of the road. And I did that in the middle of the road. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't be doing that. And that was even more of a Tokyo drift, and except more tight. And they're like, oh my gosh, how could you do this? It's more of Grace. And Amy staying in the back all quiet and calm and respectful. And then Zach's laughing like a hyena. And then we pull into the parking lot, we get inside. And the next thing at the end of practice, your friend, Miss Grace, comes over and she's like, oh yeah, sorry, Nolan. I have something to do, so I'm going home with honors. Okay, that's fine, no problem. Next thing I know, with 24 to 36 hours later, I get a fucking message from the vice president herself and saying, oh yeah, can I talk to you on the phone later tomorrow about something? Great. I get the phone call. I'm getting reamed out about how shitty of a driver I am because some little bitch is getting pissed off about how shitty of a driver I am. I was livid. This fucking rat, this sewer rat of a person couldn't come to me and say it. Then doesn't come to practice at all for the remainder of the season. What the fuck is that? Talk about small testicles right there, my friend. I was pissed off. I wanted to kill somebody and wrap them in their mother's dress. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. It was.
He said that on air, folks.
Funny thing is, I'm the one who edits this, so no, it was definitely eventful. It definitely gives me a perspective on how to deal with people, but whatever. That's it. That's a great way to end the show, Mr. Riley Lynch. Like I've said, it took a while to get this, a lot of run around, but I want to say thank you for the deepest recesses of my heart for helping me do this. This is eventful. This will probably be out later tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Like I said, beginning for all you. For all you cocksuckers out there listening or viewing this, if you liked what you saw, do us a favor, because this really helps myself, and Mr. Riley Lynch will be proud for you all to smash this motherfucking like button like you're Ray Rice and Greg Hardy combined. Subscribe to the show because that helps. We have 8 subscribers so far on YouTube and Spotify, and 3 on SoundCloud. So we need to do a better job of this. This is great content.
Spotify, bro?
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
Word, I didn't know. I thought you were just on SoundCloud.
No, let me shoot it like it is, brother. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. It's on practically every other fucking thing there is. But yeah, subscribe, follow, click that bell button so you're notified when my fucking face and voice comes out, my unfilteredness. And also click the share button so all your friends and family can know, because they're probably like, what the fuck's going on? What's next for the Ice Team show with NoLdAwG? That's what it is. Thank you all for viewing, watching. Until next week, stay moving, scheming. In the words of Johnny Carson, the legend that he is, I wish you all a heartfelt good night. Till next week, my friends.